38-inch, supposed to be a big, huge monitor. Supposedly it's good. Let's get to it. You're watching Andre's reviews. UltraGear 38GN950-B, not the 950-B. The 950-B is as it turns out, after I got a response from LG, from B&H, from like 3 different forums, and nobody seems to know exactly the difference, but as it turns out, the 95B is a business version, whereas the 950B is a consumer version. The business version has a bigger warranty, like 3 years, and the consumer version is only 1 year of warranty. That's very interesting to hear, considering that the consumer version is more expensive. I bought this one for $1,550, and at that time the consumer version, which is the 950B, costed about $1,800, so considerably more expensive. Apart from that, this one's supposed to have energy saving mode, so I collected that, and it took me like a month to collect all this information, to write all those emails. So I don't know how it works with the marketing teams, and you cannot compare these monitors online as well, because those are on different websites, the business and consumer. So supposedly I paid less money and I got exactly the same product. So let's get to it, let's get to the unboxing, let's see what's in the box. 38GN950-B, 38-inch of course, 160 Hz, which actually contradicts a little what I've seen on the B&H website, which say 175 for some reason, we'll check that later. HDR, which is the HDR 600, not the best one you can get, but the best one for this type of ultra-wide 38-inch. So ultra-wide 4K, the best you can get currently. This is summer 2021. The best you can get is 600. I wish I could get 1000, like the one I have, the X27, Acer X27 is 1000, but that one is a bit smaller, so I'm trying this one now. Nano APS, supposedly very fast one. The box itself is simple. I believe that's because this is a business version, and the business version is like there are no marketing materials all over the place, like no colors, nothing. Plain and simple box. You shouldn't use the knife, but how else am I supposed to open this? Okay, manage that. Okay, looks interesting. You got a cable, which is a DisplayPort cable. Good. Got a USB cable here. Typical USB. HDMI as well. Nice. The power brick, which is substantial and heavy. Information, what's this? What's this? Okay, no idea. What else? Oh, really? Optical disc? Seriously? Okay, anyway. And inside, we've got the product itself. This is the stand. Oh, looks nice. It's red on the bottom and black on top. NVIDIA G-Sync. There is no G-Sync module in this monitor. This is a FreeSync monitor. But yeah, G-Sync compatible, as they say. Okay, and this is huge. The stand is heavy. This is heavy. And the monitor itself. The stand, that's how it looks, yeah? As the stand goes straight into here. Easily, by the way. Looks reliable. No screwdriver needed, which is always a plus. Okay, let's get the monitor itself. Oh boy, this one is big. It's not actually heavy. One thing which is bad, there are no handles anywhere. That may be a problem if you drop this thing. This is what it looks from behind. From the front, okay. It's very easy to drop this thing. There are 4 screws down here, and I thought you need a screwdriver for that, right? Because I've seen there are 4 holes here as well. So I've been looking for a screwdriver for maybe like half an hour. I couldn't find it, but as it turns out, it's much more simpler than that. You just put it here, and there is a latch. That's it. As simple as that. On the bottom, you put the latch down. Disassemble is as easy. So this latch holds it well. One of the best systems in the monitors I've seen so far, actually. I haven't seen many, but still. Looks nice. Now it may fall though, so let's get it up. Oh boy! Now it's heavy as hell. Simple. And besides that, guys, it's curved, right? So it's curved. If you want to put it flat, you cannot do it because it will break most probably. So you need to take this foam, put it somewhere like this, and then if you want to put it face down flat on some surface like a table or any like a floor, please use this foam. Otherwise the curvature will not let you, or it will let you, but you may break it. So yeah, that's the thing to know. Besides that, here are your inputs and outputs. This is the USB in, which works as a hub. You connect this to your PC, and then you've got two additional ports. However, it's not the best way to connect USB devices. Better is to connect straight away to your PC. You've got the display port as well, and two HDMI ports. Plain and simple. Power and 3.5mm jack. This monitor is going to replace this monitor, which is the LG as well. It broke down already, but it's LG EA53 24-inch, atrocious 24-inch Full HD IPS, but like I bought it for $350, and now I don't think I'll be able to sell it for more than 50, considering it's broken, not more than 10. So this thing will replace it, but still, you know what's good about this monitor? I have a stool, so I put this stool onto the table, and I put this monitor onto the stool, so it's like a standing table right away. I have a table, I can use it as a stand desk, so I'm not sitting, I'm just standing. But with this, it's so big, I don't think I'll be able to fit it on the stool. I'll need a couple stools. And actually, it's about time to buy a desk that lifts down and up, and you may change the height and you may stand. So yeah, it's about time anyway. I also own an Acer X27 for a couple years. You may see a review of that monitor on this channel. 4K monitor, which is the full HDR, like the best possible you can get, except it's 27-inch only. It's small. So this is much bigger. This is ultra wide. The resolution on this is actually smaller. So I'm afraid the pixel density will not be as good. It's definitely lower. So I have some fears. I'll be able to see pixels, which is not something I really like, but let's see how it works. It's about time to replace this. It's good it broke down. So let's try and turn this thing on. I'll see how it works. On. Got some colors. That's nice. I think I need a wall behind it so the wall can reflect the lights. Okay, what do we have? No signal. Enter the power saving shortly. So there is one joystick specifically for the lights. Let's connect it to the computer and let's see whether is there any wow factor, or am I going to regret this purchase. All right, the PC is on. Let's see, display port, yes. Display ASUS, whoa, everything is so wide. Okay. Caution, make sure to use supplied input cables. Do not display this message again, close. Okay, do not display this message again, it's fine. Okay, the Windows apparently needs some time to get used to this monitor. This ultra wide light. The dust is everywhere. So, wow. That's nice. That's really nice. The wow factor, impressed. Did you know why I'm impressed? I expected to be seeing pixels all over the place. This is not the case. I can see the pixels, yes, this close. But actually, it's totally fine. Totally fine. Yes, the density is not as great as on my X27, which is smaller. And the scaling here is 100 recommended, so the scaling is 100, and for the X27 I'm using 150, because if I put 100 in X27 you can't see anything. This is gorgeous. The uniformity is great. Everything is like amazing, guys. I'm so impressed. There are some downsides to having ultra wide. Yes, ultra wide is not a typical resolution to have, like it's difficult to stream, it's difficult to use some content which is supposed to be 16:9, but so far for the productivity, wow, zero regrets. 0. This is amazing to have this real estate. This is gorgeous, guys. Yep, very satisfied. This is an IPS panel. IPS means it's not as sharp, not as contrasty as, for example, OLED panels. It might seem bad, but actually it's much easier on your eyes. You can stay extended hours without any fatigue, so I consider this actually a good thing for many applications. Unlike X27, this monitor has no artifacts. I haven't seen any artifacts whatsoever, and it has no fan, which is great. Trust me, you don't want to have a fan in your monitor. Those fans you have in your system, those are enough. You don't want to have any extra and to mess with those and to clean those like yearly. That's just a bad idea. This monitor is a productivity king, so it's so wide, it's so much space there. It's like having two monitors, except you don't have the split in the middle, and that's great actually. So basically you can treat it as two monitors, which is like amazing. It's amazing for editing, so if you edit videos, the timeline is huge and much easier to navigate. Also, if you deal with sound, the sound timeline, the waveform, those are huge, and especially for editors, this is a very good thing. The 21:9 movies, those look amazing, you know, like those wide movies you have in the cinemas, and the movies that are 16:9 look fine. You do have black bars on both sides, but you can still use it, no problem. Black bars did not really change anything, but 21:9 movies, though, those look just amazing. The sRGB mode is very close to the ideal. I used this X-Rite color checker. I checked all the colors, and it probably needs a review by itself. So I checked all the colors. It was very close to the ideal. It was not ideal. It was like 98 or something sRGB coverage. So it twisted it a little bit, and it's like 100 right now. So out of the box, color calibration is amazing. I don't really think you need a calibrator for that. So you can use it just out of the box. But if you're like a designer who needs like perfect colors, you will probably buy OLED in that case. But anyway, this can be used for color specific work as well. So the sRGB is true sRGB. I've tested it with the X-Rite color checker. Really like that one. All the others are not really 100% accurate. The Gamer 1, Gamer 2 are accurate if you set them properly, and they will show the Adobe RGB color gamut, which is great. The sRGB will show the sRGB color gamut, so which is also great. All the others I don't really use because I think they distort the colors too much. After you switch the overclock on, now you can actually change it to the 160. The only downside of overclock is that if you switch on the HDR, currently you see the color value here, the 8-bit RGB standard dynamic range. Switching the HDR on, we've got 160 Hz. However, you can see it 8-bit with dithering, which is the same color, except it does some of the noise, so that noise blocks the signal, so the signal becomes smaller in general. That's something that it does. You can't really see it with your naked eye. Some people say they can see it, I cannot see it, so basically you can use it. But if you want the cleanest possible HDR, HDR is not even present on this monitor, but anyway, you want the cleanest possible HDR signal, you need to change your Hertz value to 120. Now it's full 10-bit color, no dithering, nothing. But you have to use 120. In that case, you don't really need the overclock. I personally use it always in 120. 160 is not needed for me, but sometimes when I play the CSGO, CS2, some competitive stuff, which I rarely do, but I may sometimes put it to 160, so that's nice to have. There aren't many cons in this particular model, but if you take the 16:9 content, okay, it's not optimized for widescreens. It's not really a con, it's a specific thing that widescreens have. Yes, you will have black bars if you watch 16:9 movies. Also, one specific and very interesting con, this monitor is too bright, in my opinion, on the lowest setting. If you put it on 0, the brightness on 0, it's still too bright. For example, when I wake up in the morning and it's still dark in my room, I switch it on. I wish it was a little bit darker, maybe like twice darker, because on 0 feels to me like it's about 80 nits. So I prefer having a 20 nits setting, but this monitor 80 is the lowest it gets. So not really a big thing, but for those dark nights, dark hours when I want something very dim, it doesn't work, so unfortunately. You cannot twist this thing to left and right. If you want to move it left a little, you need to use the stand. And this is totally fine with me. However, for some desks, and especially for stools, this may be a problem for somebody. Like for X27, you can twist it anywhere you like. But however, it lifts up easily, very smoothly, amazing, easily, and the tilt, very smooth and easy. So yeah, pretty good. The last con, probably the HDR. HDR is not present as in all the other monitors of this resolution, this specific widescreen resolution. The highest HDR you get 600, which is not an HDR. So yeah, this monitor, in my opinion, has zero HDR. The 600 doesn't work. Contrast and deep blacks, you can forget about that. Like, let me show you what I mean. The black will fill the room. Yeah, the backlight, it changed, yes, but the blacks, you see, this is supposed to be black. Yeah, it's even worse looking on the phone. Like in the reality, it's not that bad actually, no. But it's typical IPS. I'm not sure what it's even called, like the white bleed or something. It has local dimming, but that local dimming is like you may consider it's not even there. So yeah, typical IPS panel blacks. Now it's switched off. You see, now it's black. So my X27 looks like this switched on. But this is like HDR will not be present here. Like it's 600 certified, I know, but I wouldn't play HDR on this monitor. I don't think it will be usable at all. The local dimming, and this is a very interesting feature. Let me show it to you. So you can see the screen right here in front of you, and it's actually very uniform. I don't know why you see this cross in the middle. Somehow my camera shoots it that way, but it's actually uniform, so you just have to trust me. So right now the variable backlight is off. You don't see anything happening on the screen. Yeah, it's just a milky IPS, typical IPS screen. If we go into the menu and we go into the local dimming, we put it on auto. On auto, it just sometimes switches on, sometimes switches off on some random occasions, so I never put it on auto. I never put it on, but let's put for this test, for the sake of this test, let's put it on. Let's see what happens. And this is what happens. So the screen follows the cursor, which is white on black background. And this is really terrible. I don't really know how this is supposed to be HDR, but it's not even a gimmick. It's just some kind of a joke. Basically, this monitor has 8 dimming zones, and you can actually count those. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you've got 4 on the top. So 8 dimming zones. How is this supposed to work? I don't know, because my Acer X27 has 384 dimming zones. Even that is not enough. I'm not satisfied. I wanted to buy the one variant with the 512 dimming zones. And even that was somehow, I thought, like, it's not enough. And there are some variants with 2000 dimming zones. Very expensive, so I didn't buy that. But this one has 8. So 8 dimming zones. Looks to me like some marketing thing, and still they implemented this. They spent some money and research to put it there. I think it's useless. It costs some money to do, but yeah, they've got this marketing thing, so they put it there. It has dimming zones, but you see what it is actually. And if you start using this for real, you start using this, it's very distracting. You just see this like shift in colors, shift in the brightness everywhere, and it's not really adding to the experience, but it actually makes it much worse. So I haven't really used it. I tried it, I tested it, I tried HDR with it, but yeah, it doesn't work. Speaking about gaming, I don't really enjoy playing FPS games on this monitor because it's wide, it's big, and you want to notice something small in the corner, like you have to look like this all the time. It's a little bit tiring, and you don't really notice all of the details because the monitor is like huge. And this immersive feeling you should be getting, I actually get seasickness from it. It's similar to seasickness because FPS games, those are so fast that it's a little bit distracting. But on the other hand, racing games, those are amazing. you play Gran Turismo or something like that, you do get this immersive feeling. One of my friends, he plays competitive racing games. He has like this huge Samsung Odyssey, that's how it's pronounced, and that are amazing. This resembles it a little bit, so yeah, I do feel a benefit while playing racing games. And as well, for example, Total War or Civilization, those are as well amazing. You have a lot of info screens, a lot of units on the screen, so for those games it's also amazing. But I actually like 16:9 as well for those type of games, but this is nice perspective on some of the games, definitely not the FPS. Then we have the response time. This one is interesting. I don't really see any difference between fast, normal, and off, and I will demonstrate it right now to you. So whenever I change the modes from fast to normal to off, and I look at the UFO test, I don't see anything at all. I don't see anything happening. But if I change it to faster, let me show you what happens. Check out. You see the shift in color. Let's do it one more time. Look at the edges of the UFO. The color shifts quite visibly. So apparently the top value here does a lot of distortion, so I don't think it's a good idea to use it. But for some competitive players, probably the faster makes sense. They don't care about the color, they will need the speed, but competitive players will not use this monitor anyway, so I don't think that's a relative use case. The curvature at first seems a little bit strange to have a curved monitor because all the lines are kind of curved, but a couple of months passed and you get used to it totally. And now I switch between the curved and the flat monitor. Your brain gets used to it so well, like you don't notice it. You don't notice it at all, so don't be afraid that your lines will not be straight. Somehow your brain figures it out and everything is fine. So I bought this monitor in 2021. It was a great buy. I still use it. I'm currently using it right now, and I like it a lot. But in 2024, probably I wouldn't buy it. Probably in 2024, like right now, I would buy something like OLED. I would look into that direction, unless there are some specific use cases you need this monitor for, and I'll be talking about that in a little bit. The variable backlight is awesome, by the way. Like, I didn't even pay attention to this feature, but it looks nice. It's powerful, actually. See, it's dark in the room right now. And this ring right here produces lots of light, enough to fill the room. The RGB that's behind the monitor, you know, this backlight, it's a nice toy, but I'm not using it. I haven't been using it at all because it's distracting. It distracts me, and it has probably the PWM. I mean, it's like this invisible flicker that it flickers invisibly, but it tires down your eyes. This monitor can be recommended for people who are looking for productivity mostly, like for example office work with a lot of text. If you need like two monitors, you constantly use two monitors, just buy this one. It will be one monitor, much easier to use. For coders, for testers, for developers, for people who use a lot of maybe for game developers, but not really sure here, so yeah, write in the comments, guys, if it makes any sense. But for productivity, office, I'm using it in the office for many years, and it works great, and especially for editing, sound edit and video and photo editing works amazing, especially for those huge timelines you can use. So for those people, it's an amazing buy, even if it's one and only monitor. Also, if you already have one 16:9 monitor and you want to buy an additional monitor, this is a great addition because there are some use cases you can do here on this monitor which you cannot do on the regular 16:9. So for those people as well who are looking for a secondary monitor. For racing gamers, if you play those games mostly, don't play any other games, can be kind of recommended for you. And for people who watch widescreen movies. However, the IMAX, those are not ultra-wide, and there are many other movies like Netflix which are not ultra-wide, so those are very specific kinds of movies, which is not a decent enough reason to buy this monitor just for the movies. Whom I don't recommend this monitor for are general gamers who want to buy one monitor and they want to have one and only monitor. They play mostly FPS games, they stream, they want to use HDR, they want fast response time, they want to have fast refresh numbers like 400 Hz or something like that. This one is still good, it's 160, but it's nothing like 300 or 400 for those competitive gamers, so this is not a great buy for them. Unless they already have one fast monitor and they will want to have something additional. In that case, yes, it will work. And also for people who are looking for one-size-fits-all solutions, 16:9 is more like it. This monitor, as I've said, is a niche product, so for those people, probably not. So in general, this product is recommended with caution because it's a niche product, and also because it's expensive, and also it lacks proper HDR. So the Android reviews rating is recommended with caution. However, if you have your specific use cases where you need this exact set of features that this model provides, it's a great buy. This product is actually great product-wise. I mean, if you have those features, you need those features, this specific LG GN950-B is great. It's reliable. I'm using it for 3 years already, has no artifacts, and been a great piece of equipment altogether. So in that case, it's highly recommended. So thanks for watching, guys. Stay tuned. So I don't imagine you buying this into your office unless you're like, you spend a lot of money from your pocket